Kellyanne Conway has got a book coming out. I'm not gonna read it. You shouldn't read it. Do not pay any money for it. But there are a couple of tidbits dropping from it that in these sorts of situations I think are worth discussing. And one is the time when Trump apparently considered dropping out of the presidential race. Now, this isn't the 2020 race. This is back in 2016. And what happened is the Access Hollywood tape came out where Trump, in attempting to seem cool to Billy Bush or whatever, described how he likes to casually sexually assault women and how it's awesome because he's a celebrity or whatever. Now, apparently Trump had seen reports following this that the GOP, quote, could force him off the ticket or hold a vote to expel him. And so he asked Kellyanne Conway, should I get out of the race? Now, what's interesting is that in public, he was saying, there's zero chance I'll quit. I never, ever give up. But he was talking to her about, like, should I? Am I gonna be forced out? Would it look better for me to quit than to let the Republicans force me off the ticket? And she apparently said, you actually can't quit unless you wanna forfeit and throw the whole damn thing to Hillary. Trump then said, what do you mean I can't? It's awesome that she almost like reverse psychologied him into quitting the race. But anyway, she said that stepping out of the race at that point wasn't in the picture because early voting had already begun. And so what's interesting too is that she wants to come out of this book coming out looking very reasonable about this. So I want to describe the difference in what she was saying publicly and privately about that tape. She describes a scene in which she says she reassured him he'd win, while also ripping into him over the vulgar comments that he made on the tape. At the time, she was going on shows like Dana Bash's on CNN saying that people should, quote, stop using the term sexual assault to label what Trump had said in the tapes. In her new book, she claims she called him out specifically to him, saying the words were disgusting and reprehensible. And the cool thing about those two different things, public and private, is that one is on tape and the other is just a thing she's saying that she said years ago and can't be proven. You can't prove that it didn't happen. Which are you gonna believe, Francesca?
Oh God, Kellyanne Conway is a conniving, cold-hearted bitch. I'm just gonna be real. Like, she knows exactly what she's doing. She has no stars in her eyes about who Donald Trump is. Remember, she was also on the anti-Trump train for a while there, back Ted Cruz, before Trump won the actual primary. So she knows exactly who he is. She knows who she was dealing with, and she decided to sort of sell her soul and make her bed. And there she is. And honestly, as if her soul was all that amazing working for Ted Cruz. But I do think it's interesting. Like, why would you say that Trump thought about quitting? Like, I don't, that is just sounds like
that's true.
Sounds like a sort of a gem of a tidbit there that she wanted to include. And if it is true, like, that's insane. And we almost had him, guys. But here's the difference is that nobody cared, especially none of his voters. Nobody cared in that moment. And remind you, this was before the Me Too movement. And I would argue that it's because Donald Trump, we elected a groper in chief. We elected someone with however many sexual misconduct allegations against him. We elected that person that all the others had to fall. Truly, I believe this. Like, and that's what it was, because I think women across this country, people across this country saw the impunity with which rich, powerful men can do this kind of thing and with which they brag about it. So when that tape dropped, I thought to myself, man, this would look bad for anyone else. Other than someone like Donald Trump.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And in the years since then, like, you know, how far they got a few guys, only if like there was overwhelming evidence of so many women and it exceeded a certain threshold, then maybe they got a few, maybe. But I don't know, the claim about Elon Musk comes out and every single one of his followers immediately says that she's a liar, she's trying to get famous, or God only, like she's just trying to take him down because he votes Republican, which is why she, years before he said that, had this like suit against him. But no, it's just you don't trust anymore. And like, what are like we go years after that movement, and now what's going on TV right now? Like a multi-week like orgy around a burning at the stake of Amber Heard going on right now. Like the backlash has been Absolutely insane.
And not only that, like Fox News, we covered this on the Habituation Room. Fox News is out in front defending Elon and straight up saying, like, look, if this were a few years ago, I might have believed her, but now the Me Too movement is so passe. Oh my gosh, sexual assault doesn't happen anymore, and you're like,
but it was a few years ago.
Exactly.
The incident happened in 2016.
He paid for her silence.
Exactly. Anyway, one of the reasons I wanted to briefly mention this, so Kellyanne Conway, of course, just wants to sell books or whatever, and so she has to come up with something that she was there for. She's gonna have a harder time selling the books because unlike someone like a Stephanie Grisham, she isn't willing to turn on the movement. So like, she definitely saw stuff that is really bad for him. She could reveal those things and she might sell some books, but she still wants to be a part of the movement, so she can't do that. So this is what she's got, but it reminded me, like I had to go back mentally to that time. This now is 6 years ago when that tape dropped. I still remember when it did. And then like 2 hours later, the WikiLeaks drop started. It totally not a coincidence. But anyway, just the fact that didn't end it. I mean, we know that in the wake of that, he did a million things, any one of which should have ended his presidency or whatever, but that really should have ended it. And it is absurd that the race was, he got less votes, admittedly, but the race was so much closer than it should have been. And there's a lot that's happened in the past decade that would lead us to be very ashamed of our country. But this was one of the moments where it's not that the thing that happened was the worst. America's done far worse things, but this was the easiest for us to come out against, and we didn't. We couldn't agree even on this, that it was wrong for a guy to brag on tape about assaulting people.
We crossed the Rubicon at that moment. And I think about Republican women who are very much, again, like Trump admitted, aren't excited about Roe v. Wade being overturned. And I think about them and I think about like how much in that moment they were asked to shut up and cower. And they were asked to keep their mouths shut. They were asked to vote anyway. They were asked to never to chalk it up to boys talk or whatever Melania chalked it up to. And just how much crap that is to swallow. That like even if you like, it boggles my mind.
It does. We've learned a lot over the past few years, not societally, just us.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.